I'm Richard Goodall. I'm the CEO of Marlborough. We are in our Marlborough London office, which is in Soho in the West End of London. To be frank, there's a vibrancy about the international marketplace, which we find pretty exciting. The opportunity to get involved with international advisors is particularly appealing. We've been for a number of years. We're having success and growth in the marketplace, which we'd like to continue. So the opportunity to engage, to go cross-border, to take our skills and capabilities and build stronger, deeper relationships with advisor businesses across the globe is something that really we want to do. I think there's a couple of things that I would probably point to is around, first of all, the consolidation in terms of the marketplace, and if I can call it professionalism of the market also. So you're right, our DNA stems from the UK, which we take, and I think that really helps us from a UK perspective because of the regulation and the focus within the UK from a regulatory perspective, so we can help. So if I talk about both in terms of the consolidation and then the other aspect, in terms of the consolidation, I think that's great. But we all know organisations that just lose their way as they grow and as they acquire. You know, the thing that made them great, they seem to lose. And really what we want to do is to be very focused on what sets us apart. And we believe it's two things. One is partnership, really being a partner, not being a provider. And secondly, the values of the organisation. So how are we engaging, which I'm sure we'll talk about more as we work through the interview. But those two key things are absolutely fine. So I think consolidation is a great thing, but let's make sure we get value out of the consolidation rather than dissipate the value. So organisations, I think that the scale of an organisation is less important than the purpose, the value and the delivery of it. And I think that's key for us. We're an independent organisation. We're at just over 16 billion of asset. So we're strong, we're capable, but we want to grow. But the important thing is be very focused on what you do and then do it exceptionally well to provide then support and partnership to those people that we can then engage with. The second point I was talking about was the professionalism. The whole market internationally is becoming increasingly professional. We see that through exams, through engagement. And I think, frankly, because the end client situation is starting to become more complex. So that professionalism is absolutely needed from skills and knowledge and understanding, essentially. So how we build relationships and it's exactly the same both ways, isn't it? You know, people by people, businesses by businesses. So organisations look at us for capability, for us to see if we do the right thing. And we would do exactly the same with the advisor community. We would be looking for advisors to say, can this partnership, can this organisation supplement what we do and our brand, or does it take away from what we do? So clearly, and that's a judgment call, Gary. I'm old enough to have made some good partnerships and some less good. But the important thing is, see the people, have the good debate, start working together, build a relationship. Because for me, it's not about product. Lots of people have got lots of products. It's not about a red one or a blue one. This is about what you stand for. And I think it's about values. So if it's values-based, you say, look, this is us. Do you like what you see? And do you think you could work with us? And I think it's a values-based organisation, because I'm sure in 5 years' time, there'll be products in the market that we yet haven't created. But it's about having the right partner in the right way, having the right discussions. And all of that comes down to trust. So I think, I've talked previously about that partnership, but partnership leads to values, and we're very clear of what our values are. So at least then an organisation that we want to partner with can be very clear about what we stand for. And that's absolutely key for us. Let's be on the advisor's side first of all. Advisors are doing a great job providing great advice to individuals that require that. So that's important. We believe that. We believe in the advisor. We believe in the value of advice. Now, of course, I would change best practice just to a growth mindset. We're always continuing to learn. So that whole growth mindset, as I said, products will change, taxation position changes, the migration of that end client. It used to be, you know, I would be in one jurisdiction, I'd now go to another. Well, you can see that people are moving from one to another now. Advisors are, and, you know, consumers are. So, you know, the reality is there's lots of change that's going on. Being on the right side, there's no other side to be on. But I think from a partnership perspective, I go back to that, it's really key that we're all learning from each other. So, for example, in the UK, there's been a lot of work around consumer duty. But consumer duty works exceptionally well if both the investment company, fund manager, ourselves, and the advisor works closely and seamlessly together. If those two things happen, we look after the benefit of the end consumer. And that's what it's all about. Do it right for them, then everybody else benefits. I think standards are improving right across the globe, right across the value chain. We're doing things better, improving it for the end consumer, doing things in the right way. You know, I think being focused in the UK helps us understand the UK market, but that also then that allows our focus internationally to take. But I think it would be incorrect for us to say, because we know what we're doing in the UK, we know therefore what we're doing globally. What we should say is, look, that's a good starting point, but what else can we learn? So I find real value in talking to other organisations outside of the UK with how they're undertaking activities, what they're doing, what their challenges are. And I think that makes our international business stronger, but it also makes our UK business stronger, because we're learning about different dynamics, what's going on from a client perspective, but also from a regulatory perspective, etc. The point around cross-border, though, in terms of, you know, making sure that clients are more portable. There's a client migration much more than I've ever seen before. You know, you can see, you know, client going from previously one jurisdiction to another. I think they'd do 3, 4, 5 through their lifetime. So that migration, I think, is key. But also advisors have the same migration that's going on. So, you know, two things, I think. The world is getting smaller, but the world is getting more complicated. So the professionalism across the globe is necessary, because client circumstances are changing, regulation is important there. So bringing all of that together, I think cross-border and that capability is really, really important for us. So we would say, if we go back 5 or 10 years, I may simplify it and I'll frustrate people, but it's simply, people from the UK may go to another jurisdiction to work, maybe to Europe or to America or to Australia, to Dubai, and then come back. Well, now that's a different world. You know, we're going from the UK, perhaps to Europe, perhaps to America, then on to Dubai, then maybe retire in Portugal. You know, so what we've got now is we've not got a journey that's one way and back. We've now started to get, you know, 4 options, 5 options, and then consideration of what that looks like. So yeah, I mean, what a great situation for an advisor, you know, because that's now starting to be complicated. But the advisor now not only needs to know about the UK and perhaps needs to know about the situation in the Middle East, they also need to know the situation in Portugal, the situation, you know, in Australia, etc., etc. So what you've got is, where there's complexity, advice is required. I think with this enhanced mobility and taxation changes, the advice need is absolute. But if I say, just to take the answer a little bit further, but because advisors are now real focused advisors and planners, maybe there's a place for a Marlborough to support that advisor in the investment management piece, you know. So because I think, and it's an interesting one, when we hear about elections or we hear about changes, I think it's really interesting because when I talk to planners and advisors are really interested in the election change. Here's an opportunity for planning. Do you know, we don't think like that. We say, here's the election change. Here's the opportunity from an investment perspective of where we might be able to invest. And there's two distinct differences there. I call it the DNA. So the DNA of a planner, I think, is slightly different than the DNA of a fund manager, but collectively and combined, I think works exceptionally well. So whilst the market gets more, can I say, complicated, more engaged, I think the use of partners to say, look, I can really focus on my planning and my engagement and that financial plan because I've got a partner that can manage money exceptionally well for me. Those two work really well. Then we come to, well, which partner do I choose? And I'd go to, well, it's a values-based thing. Everybody's got a red one or a blue one. The point is, what's their heartbeat? What do they believe in? And do you believe you can build a partnership with them? I think for a couple of reasons. So you know, why do I believe people are selecting us already? We're growing, so that's good. So people are liking what we're saying. So we're resonating. But for those that don't know Marlborough, why would it be? Well, we are a private organisation, so that creates its own culture. Well, our owner, Andrew Staley, has been in the market for an awful long time. He wouldn't like me to say how many years, but the important thing is he knows the marketplace. You know, it's very easy to be focused on an organisation and to grow the organisation in that structure that we have. But why Marlborough? I would say for two reasons. One, partnership. And I'll talk about what that partnership means, etc. But two, because we're values-based. And what I mean by values-based is, if everyone, as you say, has got an MPS, and a lot of people have got solutions here in terms of multi-asset capability, how do you choose one multi-asset capability from another? I think it's the heartbeat of the organisation. So our values are threefold. First, great to work with. Second, growth mindset. And third, get it done. So if I just give one line on each, in terms of the great to work with, we want people who know what they're doing, but with personality, people that you know that you like to work with, and I think that's absolutely key. We need to know what we're talking about, but also the way that we engage is also important to us. So having a personality with capability. So great to work with. Growth mindset, that whole piece of not yet. Could we grow? So that's growth of the individual, of the team, of the business, of the relationship. So that whole growth mindset, been an awful lot of work. If it's a phrase you don't yet know everyone, then Google it. And there's great lot of work around growth mindset. But lastly, get it done. You know, that what we got to do is deliver for client, deliver for advisor, deliver for the business. Now, the important thing is those three come together. So you can't say, well, we're nice people, but we haven't really got a growth mindset and we don't get it done. So the three coming together is really where the magic happens. So those three come together, and we call that difference made. So when people say, well, why Marlborough? Well, because I think we've got a great culture, we've got a great values based, but those values are really clear. So we want to be great to work with. We want to grow the relationship and the engagement, but we want to get it done. We want to deliver for you as well. And those three come together. Then it starts to move away from product, of pricing, and say, well, actually, if I've got a connection with an organisation, it's so much more powerful than I've got a current product that I currently use. You know, because as I've said, products get built. So I don't know what the products look like in 3 or 5 years' time, but with the right mindset and the right culture, the right product comes. Advisors are always, in my mind, one step ahead. They've always got the knowledge, the capability, very, very engaging through the use of technology, through the opportunity with partners, etc. What we're finding is that what we do is there's three things that we provide. The first is great investment management capability. So running money is something that we do well. The second, though, is the governance of the running of the money, ensuring that it's done correctly, it's documented well, etc. But the third one, and I think the thing that we can excel in, is the communication and the engagement, both with the advisory business and the end consumer. So we do an awful lot. Nathan Sweeney is an absolute star of ours, and the multi-asset team with 125 years of experience in taking not only the strength of what they do, but the messaging of what they do and why they do that. And what we've done is we do an awful lot of information, providing information on a weekly basis to the advisor to allow them to tell the story and to allow them, therefore, to be, to enhance education, but not only at the advisory level, but the end client level also. So things like, things that happen every week. What's the impact of? So people see the news, but what's the key point from an investment perspective that we're able to share, and therefore the advisor is able to share with their client. So as I say, that engagement communication piece is absolutely key, and I think it's something that we do really well. So those three things again: really good investment management, really good governance to ensure you're doing the right thing and keeping it safe, but then tell the story. Keep on telling the story so that the advisor and client have something that they believe in, which is really key. So if we look at the end client, the individual that needs advice, we've already said that individual's situation and circumstance could be more complicated than it's ever been before, with other jurisdictions, with taxation changes, etc. So the planner, the advisor, has the opportunity of providing the advice. For me, bringing in then cross-functional professional connection capabilities to support them in the advice giving process is absolutely important. So that might be from a financial perspective, or it might be from a legal perspective, but having this cross-functional team, always creating a family office feel where you've got an individual that the planner leads the relationship, but is then supported by wingmen, if you like, in terms of the accountant, the solicitor, or whatever we would want to call them, and creates that opportunity. I think that's a model that could work exceptionally well, particularly, as I say, go back to what's the need? Well, the market's getting more complicated, and there's more movement, more migration from one to another. So if the advisor focuses on the advice, then brings in specialists, I think that's a model that could work exceptionally well.